The SFA have just backed the controversial penalty decision that helped Celtic win the title, and the head of refereeing has been speaking out about it today. We've also got a major transfer story developing around one of Celtic's best players, a fascinating claim about Shaun Maloney's future at the club, and a new midfield target opening the door to a move. A big one today, let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Daizen Maeda has made some eyebrow-raising comments about his future this summer, and Celtic supporters will want to pay close attention because this is a story that could develop quickly. The Japanese forward has just come off one of the best seasons of his Celtic career. His goals, his relentless press, and his ability to play across the front line made him one of the most important players in the title run-in under Martin O'Neill. That is why what he said next carries real weight. Maeda has been promoting his autobiography in Japan and was asked directly about his future. He replied, "If I receive an offer this summer, I'm curious to see if Celtic will grant that wish." That is a loaded statement. He is not slamming the exit door open, but he is not nailing his colours to the mast either. It is the comment of a player who knows there could be interest and wants to test what Celtic's response would be. It reads like a public signal to clubs who may be watching that the door is at least ajar. The timing also matters a lot. Maeda now has just 12 months remaining on his contract at Celtic Park. That changes everything. Sell him now and the club can command a transfer fee. Let things drift into next summer and he could leave for nothing. The board and the incoming permanent manager will need to sit down and make a call on this very soon. Replacing what Maeda brings would be far from straightforward. Goals are part of it, but the pressing, the relentless energy, the way he drags defenders out of position and creates space for others, you do not just pull those qualities off the shelf. Celtic should be doing everything they can to extend his deal. If they are not, and an offer arrives from Japan or elsewhere in Europe, today's comments suggest he would at least hear it out. Now for the main story, as there is a significant development in the Celtic midfield recruitment picture today, with Felix Hornmyre openly admitting he expects to leave Brann this summer and is ready for the next step in his career. The Norwegian midfielder was linked with Celtic earlier this year when the club was exploring midfield options during the transfer window. A move never came together at the time, but his profile clearly attracted interest, and his latest comments suggest he remains a player open to a high-profile move. Hornmyre is 27 years old and has established himself as the vice-captain and one of the most dependable players in the Brann squad. His engine in midfield, his ability to cover ground, and his disciplined defensive work make him a strong candidate for a team that needs energy and reliability in the middle of the park. He is not a flamboyant, headline-grabbing player, but he is exactly the kind of professional who holds a team together over a long, demanding season. Speaking to Norwegian outlet Adresseavisen, he said, "I want to try something new at some point, but not at any cost. If something exciting comes along, I might want to. If not, I'm fine here. I think it will happen this summer. I actually expect it. I have to deal with it when it comes." In other news, a detailed new report has shone a spotlight on Shaun Maloney's role during Celtic's double-winning season, and the contents are genuinely fascinating for anyone who wants to understand what happened behind the scenes at Lennoxtown over the last few months. Maloney returned to the club last summer in a development role, but his responsibilities expanded rapidly once Martin O'Neill came in. He became one of O'Neill's closest allies in the coaching setup, and was involved in the day-to-day football work far beyond what his official title suggested. One of the most interesting details concerns Callum Osmond. Maloney reportedly pushed directly for the young striker to be brought into the first-team environment shortly after O'Neill arrived. Osmond went on to play his part in the title run-in and famously scored the goal on the final day against Hearts that sealed the championship. There is an argument that without Maloney's intervention, that story never happens. The report from the Celtic Way also highlights Maloney as a constant presence on the touchline during matches and a regular point of communication for captain Callum McGregor. While O'Neill provided the experience and authority, Maloney was heavily involved in the detailed tactical work alongside Gavin Strachan, Stephen McManus and Mark Fotheringham. Perhaps most significantly, reports now suggest Maloney is being considered for the vacant head of football operations role following Paul Tisdale's departure earlier this year. That would place him in an executive position overseeing recruitment, player development, and wider football operations. Maloney is said to intend to remain at Celtic regardless of what happens with the manager appointment. His standing within the club has never been higher. In other news, Celtic sent a late-night email to season ticket holders after Friday's renewal deadline passed, offering fans who had not yet committed an extended window until 9 a.m. on Monday the 1st of June. The email read, "We're sorry to see that you haven't yet renewed your season ticket for 2026-27. In case this has been an oversight, we have kept your renewal offer open until 9 a.m. on Monday, June 1st. After that time, your seat will no longer be available. The boys will be returning to Celtic Park next season as champions of Scotland again. Don't miss out on all the thrilling moments to come in 2026-27. Secure your seat now." The context behind this matters a great deal. The Celtic fan collective had urged supporters to delay renewing until the very last day as an act of protest, making the point clearly to the board that fan dissatisfaction runs deep despite the double success this season. There was real anger this year at the pace of decision-making, the handling of the manager situation, and what many supporters see as a lack of accountability at boardroom level. That campaign clearly had an impact. The fact that Celtic reached out with a deadline extension the same evening suggests a meaningful number of seats remained unclaimed when 5 p.m. came around. The club obviously cannot afford to leave those seats empty, and the wording of the email acknowledges nothing unusual about the situation, framing it entirely as an administrative oversight. The double has been delivered. O'Neill, Maloney, and the coaching staff deserve enormous credit for dragging a chaotic season over the line. But the underlying concerns about how this club is run have not gone away, and a significant portion of the support used the only lever available to them to make that clear. Celtic have until Monday morning to see if the message lands. Lastly, Scottish FA head of refereeing Willie Collum has publicly defended the controversial late penalty awarded to Celtic against Motherwell that played a significant role in the title race, and his explanation is detailed enough to be worth going through carefully. The decision divided opinion at the time and has only grown in controversy since. Motherwell player Sam Nicholson stated publicly that he could categorically say the ball never touched his hand. The release of VAR audio this week showed referee John Beaton, VAR Andrew Dallas, and assistant VAR Sean Carr all agreeing that contact had taken place before Beaton overturned his original decision and awarded the spot kick. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.